This is the iPhone 11 and in this video, let's unbox it. Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech, and if you do end up liking what you see here, please consider turning on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Let's get started. The iPhone 11 is Apple's lowest priced current generation iPhone. You know, the ones they just about launched in India. Pretty standard Apple packaging here. Taking the box out, opening it up, here we have the iPhone 11 itself. Peeling off the plastic, we have reflective glass here to the back. I couldn't get my hands on one of the unique colored variants. I'm gonna try to get that for the Pro model, once I can. Anyway, keeping the 11 aside, let's see what else we have here. We've got Apple stickers, a SIM ejector pin, the quick start guide, the regular stuff. Inside the box, we have a pair of Apple earpods with a lightning pin, of course. We also get a USB to lightning cable, and finally a charger. This is a 5-watt charger. Yes, you heard me right. That's 5 watts despite all the new iPhones supporting fast charging. Let's now take a closer look at the iPhone 11. Physically, it looks very much like the iPhone XR. Now that's because in a lot of ways, it's identical to the iPhone XR. And we will get to all that in a bit. But first, the build. We've got glass to the back here. This is a mix of glossy reflective glass and frosted matte glass. The back's predominantly glossy. The area around the camera, that's frosted. Now, we've seen this kind of a split on the Pixel in the past, but Apple has a beautiful stuff-like design here. Now, jokes apart, the entire back is made out of a single slab of glass. The portion for the body, it's milled down. So yeah, from an engineering perspective, it's quite something. Now, holding this glass sandwich together, it's still aluminum, not stainless steel like with the Pro versions. While we are on the topic of builds, the water and dust resistance rating, it's gone up to IP68 from IP67 on the iPhone XR. Now, the iPhone 11, it can last up to 30 minutes and up to 2 meters of water. Now, what's interesting here is that the Pro series, even though it also gets an IP68 rating, it is rated to survive at up to twice the depth, that is 4 meters for the same 30 minutes. Now, the placements, they've not really changed since the iPhone XR. In fact, nothing except that back's changed since the XR. The mute toggle and volume keys, the power button and SIM tray, the speaker, primary mic and lightning port, they're all present exactly where they were with the iPhone XR. The height, the width, the thickness, and even the weight at 194 grams, it's all the same. Now, the iPhone 11 is not the lightest of devices, but just like its predecessor, it doesn't feel heavy. Instead, it feels solid in hand. And the reason why it's all kind of identical here is because the display, it's not been updated, it's not really changed. It's still 6.1 inches, the resolution is still just a bit over HD. It's 828 by 1762 pixels. Apple calls this Liquid Retina. Now that's Apple speak for an LCD panel that happens to still be one of the weakest aspects of the phone. Here on the Android side of things, we make fun of brands that offer HD plus resolutions with OLED panels on 15,000 rupee phones. But hey, it's Apple, and as we saw with the XR, the majority of Apple's target demographic didn't seem to mind an HD LCD panel last year, and Apple's got the same display on the iPhone 11 here. Now, resolution apart, this is a bright and color accurate panel. The audio is pretty good too. The dual front-firing speakers are excellent. The notch, it's still there. Now that's because Face ID returns, and Apple claims it's 30% faster. I'm gonna have to test that one out. Now, as far as I've tested it out, it felt fast, but I don't think, or at least it's not felt any faster than what I've remembered the XR being. Now, while the screen and the notch may remain unchanged since the last phone, the internals, they are brand new. We have the A13 Bionic here, and that's possibly the most powerful mobile chip available today. And it's not just with the benchmarks. Now, I could talk about how fast and snappy the iPhone 11 with iOS 13 is, but I'm sure you've heard all that before. So hey, the A13 Bionic is an excellent chip, and that's that. Now, we did test out some games, and as you can see, no issues there. Talking about testing out, there are two things in particular that I really can't wait to test out. One is Apple Arcade, and I'm going to talk about why that is a big deal in my iPhone 11 Pro Max unboxing. Yes, that video is coming soon too. I'll leave a card to it once I'm done with that video. Now the second one, iOS 13 brings with it official support for DualShock 4 controllers. So whether it's streaming PlayStation 4 games to your phone or just using the DualShock 4 controller for Apple Arcade, we just got a killer controller to work with the best mobile chipset around. So that is just excellent. That's a pretty big deal. Now a couple of other iOS 13 features do stand out. For example, we can now swipe to type on the default Apple keyboard. We also get a system-wide dark mode like what you're seeing here. Now iOS 13, it also happens to fix one of my biggest annoyances with iOS. That is, we can long press on a toggle from Control Center to get more information. Like for example, I don't have to jump into settings every time I need to switch to a different Wi-Fi network. Now, this is basic with Android. It's been around for as long as I can remember, but it wasn't with iOS and it just used to drive me nuts. I'm glad to see that change here. Now, talking about changes, another one is with battery life, and I'm listing it here under software instead of hardware. Now that's because the battery capacity, that's not changed. It's the same as with the iPhone XR. Instead, Apple's optimized things better here. They claim the iPhone 11 should last an hour longer than the XR. And given that the XR already had excellent battery life, the fact that the 11 should do better, now that's great news. What isn't great news is the fact that the iPhone 11 still comes with just a 5-watt charger in the box. Now that is just sad news. Now, when was the last time we saw a 5-watt charger on any Android phone? Anything priced over 10,000 rupees. In fact, even sub 10K Android phones these days, they come with 10-watt chargers, right? What's the last 10K plus Android phone that you can remember that came with a 5-watt charger? If you can remember, leave a comment down below. Anyway, if we do end up getting 18-watt quick charger, that should make life easier. And of course, there is wireless charging support too. Now, the biggest change here with the iPhone 11, it's got to be with the optics. We've got two cameras to the back now. One of them, the primary camera, is one we are all familiar with. It's the 12 megapixel f1.8 from last year. It still has OIS and it takes some excellent looking images, crisp with a lot of detail, exposes right, the colors are natural, and the dynamic range, I can't really wait to test this a lot more. Now, jumping to the viewfinder, these extra areas to the right and left, now that's what the wide-angle camera is seeing. We can switch to that view by pressing on the magnifier button, but even when we don't, the iPhone 11 automatically takes 2 images. And unlike most other implementations of a wide-angle camera, the pictures here, they don't come out with different colors or worse dynamic range compared to the primary sensor, or at least Apple claims they don't. And from what I've seen, these claims, they do hold true for the most part. Both images are pretty similar in quality, as you can see here, and that's pretty impressive on Apple's part, especially given the different lens aperture and possible sensor sizes. This similarity is especially evident while capturing video. Here we can change lenses while capturing footage. This can be done at up to 4K 30 FPS. The video is well detailed and super stable. Well, we can't switch lenses while shooting 4K 60. Both cameras can shoot 4K 60. Now that's really smooth and crispy video. And it's not just these two cameras, even the selfie camera can do 4K 60 FPS video, and that's just nuts. Now if you think this is amazing, Apple's night mode will blow your mind. This is not a dedicated mode, instead it's a prompt that comes up when the light is low, and tapping on the moon icon, it gives you what Apple thinks is the right setting. But Apple allows for a bit of flexibility. That's very unlike Apple. At times, Apple might suggest 2 seconds, but we can go ahead, select 3 or 1. Or it might suggest, the iPhone might suggest 8 seconds, and we could go shoot 3 seconds. So basically, you can shoot for a shorter time than what is being suggested, but not a whole lot longer. So say for example, 3 seconds is being suggested, we could shoot for up to 5, but not a lot longer. So this is basically what Samsung's Bright Night wanted to be, but where Samsung's implementation failed, Apple's absolutely nailed it. The results are astounding. The seconds you choose here, it's not long exposure, it's just how many shots are taken and combined, so you don't end up with shaky images either. As you can see, the images, they turned out really well. Even in situations where we could barely make out the subject, the iPhone 11 came up with usable images. Now, in this instance, yes, there's a lot of noise, but this was 10 seconds handheld. And this image, what you're seeing here, is better than what I could actually see in real life. So props to Apple. I dare say this could be better than the Pixel 3's implementation of night sight. But hey, to be fair to Google, the Pixel 3 is 1 year old, the Pixel 4 is on its way, and I'm sure the Pixel 4 will do better. But for now, do you think I should do a camera comparison, Galaxy Note 10 versus the Pixel 3 versus the iPhone 11? Let me know in the comments below if you would be interested in seeing that. Now coming to the portraits, we have a new portrait effect, high key light mono, and the results are gorgeous. We can also use it with the 12 megapixel selfie camera, and yes, now even the selfie camera is 12 megapixels, and like I said earlier, it supports 4K 60. As far as the quality of the pictures go, we have very sharp images with natural looking skin tones. The edge detection was quite good too. And we have slow motion video selfies, or slowfies as Apple likes to call it. What do you think about them? Let me know in the comments below. Now wrapping this one up at 65,000 rupees, is the iPhone 11 a good buy? Well, it is the first time that Apple seems to want to be competitive in India. Sure, $700 does not, it just converts to 50,000 rupees, so it means we are paying 15,000 rupees more in India. But in the past, that premium has always been a lot more. So 65,000 rupees is Apple's way, in a twisted way. It's Apple kind of trying to be competitive in India. It's Apple trying to take an interest in expanding market share in India. So if a phone with an HD Plus display and a 5-watt charger is what you want, okay, just kidding. The iPhone 11, it does a lot right, like with the powerful internals and those excellent cameras. It's got a lot going for it. It's got a lot to like, especially if you're someone who already is using an iPhone. Personally, I'm really high on this phone, especially those cameras. I'm going to continue testing this one out, and I'll have a lot more to say in my full review. In the meantime, I want to know what you guys think. Would you pick this phone up at 65,000 rupees? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments below. Or what would be your alternative? Again, comments. And with that, we get to the end of this detailed unboxing video. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.